Hello, Exercises for Injuries blog readers. This is Rick Kaselj with another interview with an expert in the area when it comes to exercises and injuries. Today I'm interviewing Mike Nelson. He's a PhD candidate in kinesiology and a master trainer in Russian kettlebells. So I'm going to get Michael to introduce himself to the listeners.
Hi, thank you very much. Correct. I'm Mike T. Nelson. I'm actually a master trainer for Z-Health. And I'm just a level 1 for RKC for kettlebells. And I've done the NSCA, sort of the CSCS, conditioning specialist. Been in school forever. I initially started and did a Bachelor of Arts in Natural Science and went into more of the biomedical, mechanical engineering route. So I actually did a master's in mechanical engineering, doing primarily biomechanics stuff. Thought I was done with school after about 8 years, graduated, started working, and then thought, maybe I'll go back to school again. So did a biomed program for a while, almost finished that, and decided that I was tired of it. I didn't really want to see a lot more math anymore, and spent all my free time reading exercise physiology. I went to conferences on exercise physiology for fun, and I kind of assumed everybody else did and found out that wasn't normal. And then decided to go back to school for kinesiology. So I'm finishing my PhD in kinesiology, exercise physiology, and I should be done, if all goes well, this coming summer.
Wow, excellent. And what university are you at?
I'm at the University of Minnesota.
Okay.
Go Gophers.
So before we got on the call, we were talking about the way that you assess clients when you come in. That a lot of times you end up getting the clients that are broken, that have all the injuries, and you kind of have a unique way of assessing them and looking at them a little differently than most trainers would.
Yeah, that's how I got into it. Like probably 3 years ago now, I started training some people because my first client I actually got on a bet. I bet him that I could increase his bench press more in 8 weeks than at any other point in his life. And I said if he did that, then I'd take him on as a client. If not, the whole session everything would be free. So I figured, I'll see if any of that stuff works. And so I got him and realized that he was actually a mess. We didn't actually bench press at all in the last 2 weeks, just because I didn't feel comfortable doing that. And he got close to his max, but, he said, wow, this is pretty cool. So he signed on. So kind of from there, I kept getting the more broken people, so to speak. So people would come in and they're like, yeah, I want to do kettlebell training. I heard this is cool. I'm like, yeah, all right. So simple assessment, keep your arm straight and just bring your arm just, out in front of you up as high as you can. And they get their arm over their head, but, their elbow's bent at almost like 45, 90 degrees. I'm like, no, you have to keep your elbow straight. And, don't get very close to the top at all. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to stick a kettlebell in your hand and now force you into that position. So I did kind of the standard route of, since my background initially was biomechanics, I kind of took that route and thought, oh, well, it must be the rotator muscle, it must be the scapula not moving and all that stuff. And that is definitely can be part of the issue. I don't think there's any question about that. But a lot of times I found that didn't seem to be the most elegant solution. And it kind of was it took a lot of faith, because you would say, okay, here's your exercises, you're going to do, scapular, wall slides or whatever, and you're going to do it for 4 weeks and come back and hopefully you'll be better. And I kind of go, oh, okay. So I go away and do the exercises, and, some people came back and, sometimes they were much better, and other times they hadn't really changed. So I'm like, So I guess I was always looking for a way to do an assessment and to do a change that I could see right away to know if I was doing something correct or not. That's how I kind of got started with the Z-Health system, because the whole point of the Z-Health is it targets the nervous system, and you should be able to make changes as fast as your nervous system, which is pretty fast. only so many neurons in your brain, and, after a while, they don't regrow, they don't change. And now we know that's actually completely false, that your brain itself is extremely plastic, meaning that it has this extreme ability to actually change. And so the model I use now is looking at if the brain controls all your movements, how does the brain get its information? And that's primarily through visual. Everybody knows if you try to play your favorite sport with your eyes closed, you're probably going to suck. And vestibular. So your inner ear sort of balance from the 3 canals in your inner ear. And then proprioception, which is just sort of your body awareness or map that's created from your joints. We know the joints give information to the brain. So the brain sort of takes these 3 systems and combines them into a map. And that's what it uses to base its movement on. So if you have a bad map in any one of those 3 areas, so for example, if you're getting bad information from your eyes, you're going to perform at less than optimal. If you get bad information from your joints, same thing, vestibular, the same thing. So that's kind of how I view everything through the lens of, how does the body get information? And based on the nervous system is what's actually controlling everything. So therefore, my target of doing any exercise or anything is actually the nervous system itself. And what that allows you to do is make a change pretty fast, reevaluate the person, and see if it's any better. And it's not always really easy, but, a lot of times the person comes in, and they go, okay, shoulder only goes to there. Like, all right, done your history, and you go, okay. You just literally try something like pressure maybe on the same side wrist in a specific orientation. Have them retry their shoulder, and they're like, whoa, goes all the way up. Again, that doesn't happen all the time, but some of the time it does. So by making one small change, you now allow the nervous system to sort of regain that full range of motion again.